Oompa, loompa, dooba-dee-dee. If you are wise, you'll listen to me.
Fuck Kevin Clancy, you should have left it alone. Now I will remind you who's on the Iron Throne. See, I'm Jordan, you're Pippin, you're tripping, bro. This is my fucking business you're living off. I'm the freaking balls crushing summers on the beach. When I met you, you were crunching numbers like a geek. You're more like Marvin, without me you would be starving. You skinny, fat fuck, you starting to look like my wallet. Backseat driving, dick riding, you on my life. I make headlines while you three coning on the sidelines. You unathletic fuck, can't stand, can't run. I'd say blow my head off, that's an insult to the gun. You're a Jets, Knicks, Mets fan, you suck, man. If black people fucking hate you like the Ku Klux Klan. Damn. Constantly spewing all your racist shit. Till Tico, Texas came and ripped you out a brand new clip. What do you get when you guzzle down cum? Oh, you didn't think that you could rap? Now your wife Caitlin's listening going fat, 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 fat. Probably knocked her up listening to this beat. Now I gotta have a junior so he can feed her the meat. Geek.
I don't know about you, but my favorite part is when he calls him racist.
Black people don't even like him.
I never said that guy wasn't funny. You got to give him that.
It's the most ridiculous.
In fact, I've always enjoyed Dave Portnoy.
He's very funny.
Yes. Well, we'll get to Kevin Clancy later because he's the one I'm actually like genuinely annoyed at this point. So fuck him. Fuck Kevin Clancy will be the name of the show today. But I was spoken about on KMS as well. So I figure I have to address that. It sounds like I'm being kicked out to the streets, for God's sake. I don't know what happened. I was in on Tuesday, and then on Thursday it was a disaster. I'm out on the rocks. I don't get it.
Hit the bricks.
The big thing I've tried to work on is listening as I would, like if anyone else was like, back in the day, like if Mutt was getting shit or Cullinane now or whatever. And so I try to listen to it through that lens. And a couple things made me laugh, including Kurt goes, he goes, yeah, I don't think like Mike thinks about the show when he's not here. And Dave goes, well, he actually texted me about the show yesterday. And Kurt goes, I don't think so. And Dave just goes, yeah, you're probably right. I was like, what, Dave? Have my back, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And Whitney did the same thing. Whitney goes, he goes, no, I actually think Mike's like super self-conscious and constantly nervous that people don't like him or whatever. And Kurt goes, we actually think that he thinks he's above everyone. And Whitney goes, really? I was like, God damn it. So the theme, what I've learned, I think the biggest problem with all of this is that no one listens to this podcast. Because I've answered all of these questions on this show. Just the problem is no one listens.
Many times.
I didn't get the criticism. I'm sure next time I'm in, if that's Monday, I hope, I assume we'll talk about it. So I didn't get like the Twitter thing. Like I tweet about the show pretty regularly. And I tweeted about it a couple times the day before that episode. So I didn't get it, but I'm sure we'll talk about it more. But the thing I do understand is not wanting to go to fan events and shit. That has nothing to do with fans. Like I've never had a bad interaction. When I was in Magnolia, I talked with Tony and Tom from Michigan and Tom Treshock and all these nice people. I can't think of a bad incident I've had at a live event, but I dread going to any social interaction. It's the same reason I don't want to have a live show for this podcast. It's the same reason I don't like just meeting up with friends. If they're like, hey, meet us at this restaurant or bar or whatever. I just make up an excuse. I'm like, I can't do it because I can't navigate around. Justin's great about it. Like Justin was with me in Magnolia, and anytime like we did go into places, Justin's tremendously good at like helping me out, and he doesn't fucking, shit on me for it or anything. But as an adult man, it's humiliating to be like, hey, can you guide me? Like it's a humiliating experience. So I hate that. And on Sunday, like Alba wasn't around, Justin wasn't around. So I would have had to Uber there and find them, which would have been a disaster for me. And just being in social situations. Like I don't pick up on social cues anymore. I can't tell if we're standing in a circle. I can't tell if people are talking to me. I miss fucking handshakes. Like I think they talked about it on the show where like when we went to Milton's, or just the other day with Mike Craig when we taped Why You Laughing?
Yep. I was just gonna
like
bring
went
that
to shake my hand and I didn't see it or something.
Yeah,
and it's just an awkward like for you guys, it's a 2-second laugh, but for me, I'm like, oh, I tense up, I get fucking humiliated. So it's blind guy shit that I don't, expect other people to be able to relate to, but that's what it is. It's got nothing to do with any individuals,
The situation with the missed handshake with Mike.
Yeah.
I was more laughing at him because I'm like, what are you fucking doing?
Why would you? I'm holding a cane, for God's sake. It's the world signifier. I cannot see what you're doing.
And the lobby in my building is so bright.
Right.
It's like, he's not going to see very much here, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, even with you, when we were walking out of the building, I had to walk 15 paces behind you guys to make sure I was going the right way and shit. And like Craig even had to, when I'm leaving, Craig's like, oh, doors to the right, that type of shit. It's stuff I have to accept as a blind guy, but it is humiliating. So when I can avoid that shit, I try to. And so I literally asked Cullinane, I said, if there's anything I can do there, I'm there. But as far as on air, like I figured originally Mutt, they mentioned being there. And I was like, but if Jerry's on the show, what am I going to chime in with some zingers once in a while? Like I didn't think I would add anything. And they talked about on the show, Chris, I didn't realize Chris was going to be there. So I didn't know there was a purpose for me there, but anytime like they want me to go, I'm happy to. But that's the reason I avoid that shit when I can.
Understandable. It's one of those things that like no one can really relate.
Right. And I used to get mad at that. I'm like, why don't you understand that? Because I would say that like in therapy and shit, I would be like, if I say I can't go because I can't see, that's making an excuse. And my therapist would be like, that's not an excuse. You can't see.
Right.
Like you're not lying. It makes you uncomfortable. So I've tried to be more like, I don't know, realistic about what I can and can't do,
Right. Exactly. Justified, I think.
Yeah. Which is why, like in Magnolia, I'm not going out and about. I go to the places I'm supposed to be at. Like I'll go do Mike and the Minifans. I'll go to Guy Geller's house, and I'll go to the show. But I'm not going to go out. I'm uncomfortable, especially at like a bar after a show or something. But just in general, I'm uncomfortable going into a dimly lit restaurant and shit like that. Like I'm just uncomfortable with it. So that's my response to all that, I guess.
I think that's justified. I always thought that too, because like I've seen you interact with a ton of people, and it's never not pleasant. And
So like if I was there, it would just be like, why is Mike weird and standing off in the corner? And then when people come up to me and talk, I have lovely conversations. But I don't know. I genuinely like I'll go up to people and respond. Like someone will be talking, and I'll respond to them thinking they're looking at me, and I get like a what?
Right. Exactly.
So I just like really get uncomfortable with that shit. So
Understood.
Do they accept my answer in the comments?
Everyone's been silent.
Oh, Jesus, people. Come on.
Oh, no, here they come. We love you, Mike.
No, I'm looking for criticisms.
None. So
what was the other thing? Oh, so unfortunately, here was where they hit the nail on the head. Was me throwing this cocksucker's Patreon under the bus.
He pays his rent with his Patreon.
Yeah, I do. Not this son of a bitch. Shit runs downhill. Don't you get that? I get to come here and shit on Craig, and he goes on his show and shits on Mike, and then Mike gets mad at liberals on Twitter. It's a pyramid. So yeah, the thing with the criticism with like me interrupting mentioning Craig's Patreon was very selfish of me, but let me explain. This is, I'll show Kevin Clancy. I can apologize. Craig, I owe you an apology.
Oh, I'd rather you didn't.
Now, folks at home, if you make fun of me for that, please, it's warranted. So the thing with Craig's Patreon, like when he originally said it, he didn't tell me he was doing it. He just said it on the podcast. And I internally kind of cringed because I was like, well, there's no way this won't present a problem for me eventually. But I never stopped him from doing it. I was like, what? I cannot afford to pay the guy. Like when we started this, I'd throw him a little money when I could. And I haven't even been able to do that lately because the tax man has been knocking down my door. I didn't realize that would be coming to get me. So I literally can't afford to pay him. So I appreciate the time that Craig puts in. He puts in a shit ton of time. But if he's doing it for plugs of his Patreon on KMS, that's not my responsibility, and that shouldn't be that shouldn't be why he's doing the show. You know? Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yes.
Craig gave me the he goes, oh, I wasn't mad, I was just disappointed.
Yeah, I didn't know how to
Everyone
word
knows that's worse.
because it was more like, oh, they're gonna say it, and then
You got your hopes up.
when you did that, I was just like, ah. I don't know how to.
I know. I should have let him say it and then say you didn't have to mention that. But whatever.
I mean,
it was self-preservation move. So of course it was selfish, but I admit that.
I am so used to getting shit on that program at this point, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, that's the difference between me and Craig is he doesn't like as much as he I think overreacted once. He overreacted to one criticism, but other than that, he generally doesn't mind getting shit on. Whereas I'm like, I have to save him from that. So yeah, go subscribe to Craig's Patreon.
He pays his rent with his Patreon.
Yes, I do. They've learned. They're learning. They're becoming sentient.
Yeah. We got my goal was 25 patrons. We're halfway there. So first show tonight, by the way.
Oh, congratulations.
We're gonna get the studio done as best we can and do a semi first look at it.
The big launch.
The big soft launch, big launch Monday.
So is there anything I didn't answer? Like, I mean, the specific stuff that Kirk has a problem with. Like I said, I don't really know where it came from, so I'll just have to wait till next time I'm in to talk about it. But
Box Eating Dad says Mike owes Craig for this. Mike needs to wear a VGS shirt next time he's on.
I'd sooner die.
I know.
I would sooner light whatever shirt I'm wearing on fire.
That would be a problem. That would make the golden jacket look like nothing.
The Very Good Show shirt, by the way, is just obnoxious. It's like, we get it. Why are you screaming it at us?
There's many different kinds and flavor.
You're yelling the title at us.
See, you can't miss it.
Yeah, I can read it. Jesus.
Now look at that. What's a better sales pitch than giant letters?
I'm trying to think of shit that was mentioned that I have not addressed. Oh, thinking I'm better than people. Well, I guess I did address that, right? Everyone knows I don't think I'm better than the thing with Kevin, like, because I think Kirk said, like, I hope Mike's not trying to act like he's better than Kevin. Do we have that, by the way? I forgot to ask you before the show. Do we have that clip?
The prediction one?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is what I said. This is what I said on Monday before any of this happened, before Kevin responded or anything. This is what I suggested might happen on Monday's live show here on Patreon. If he responded to like me saying it, it would be angry. It would be, you're a worthless nobody.
Blind Mike doesn't get guests on his show because he's not good at this. Blind Mike doesn't get guests on his show because his show's not good.
He's better than you.
No, I mean, like, he objectively isn't. He objectively isn't because look at where I'm at and where he's at.
So he's right. You don't have any more clips from me, do you? Because I said exactly that.
I found the one. I went through the last two shows, and that was the only one. I know you said it. I just could not find it, but that was the big one.
Well, then I'll say it now. If I didn't say it, I'll say it now. Of course, Kevin. The word objectively does hurt a little bit because that suggests no one with an opinion could even think that I'm better. That's hurtful. But he's right. He's a millionaire doing this.
Right.
Like, he makes millions of dollars just talking into a microphone. I make a very little amount because Kirk allows me to promote on his show. Oh, that was the other thing I should say. Of course, I'm very aware that everyone that subscribes to this is from Kirk. I think I say it all the time, but
I think there's one that isn't.
Huh?
I think there's one that's from Who Are These Podcasts? The rest, Kirk.
And he's probably lying to make me feel better.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, no, of course I'm aware of that. and it's something that's made like, well, never mind. But I was about that you saw in real time me about to go into woe is me mode and say, no, don't do that, Mike.
Mike, you have to have confidence. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Rent with his Patreon.
So yeah, I literally said on Monday or Tuesday's show, I was like, Kevin's doing exactly what I want to be doing. Like I'm jealous of where he's at. Of course, he is objectively better at this than me. He's literally doing the show I want to be doing with the people I want to be doing it with.
Right.
So to that point, someone said to me today on Twitter, I tweeted, everyone was making fun of me for like tagging people on Twitter, which again, of course, that was a self-serving thing. Yes, as we said again on Monday, we played a clip of Lewis saying like Mike tweet snitched on Kevin, and I go, yep, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Because the hope is they retweet my dumb podcast's fucking tweet.
And it's not like this was a fucking serious subject.
No, it's of course. Well, it's whether or not it's serious. I didn't bug the Clancy household and find a private conversation he was having and go, "Hey, everybody, look how gay Kevin is." He did it into a microphone on his podcast. If I didn't pick up on it, like I was just, I wasn't the first to. I don't know. I hope I'm not ruining this guy's life. I hope Kevin Clancy doesn't destroy this guy. But Matt from Rhode Island sent it to me and was like, "Can you believe this?"
The other thing too is I don't think the Legion of Skanks show, had you tweeted that or not, would have been any different.
No, someone would have noticed it.
Right.
I mean, they mentioned, to be fair, they mentioned me sending it to them. So, like, yes, I tattled on him. I ratted him out because I thought it was funny. Like, I think it's a funny thing the same way when we tweet out a clip of fucking whoever else we make fun of. Nikki Glazer. The first time we made fun of Nikki Glazer. I don't want to be friends with Nikki Glazer. I don't think she's going to react to it. But ideally, she does. And that's, you know, a few more views for whatever that's worth. You know what I mean? Like, all of this probably amounts to 0 at the end of the day. But you got to try. You know, you got to try to grow your fucking podcast. So I don't get what his issue was with me. All I can think of, so we'll play exactly what Kevin said about me in a minute, but all I can think of, like where this comes from, is that Kevin was worried I cost him his seat at the cool kids table, and I'm a fucking nerd. Like, those guys hate me because I'm not the cut of their jib.
But you are, though. That's the thing.
No, they don't. But Kevin and Dave and whoever, they don't find me funny. Kevin will say 10 times in this clip, Mike's not funny, he's bad at this, whatever. But it's weird to hate me for that. Like, you don't have to like my podcast, but I've never done anything to you. And Kevin used to be friendly with me. Like, he fucking, you know, he'd help me out when I needed it, when I was at Barstool and shit like that, for no reason, just to be a nice guy. And then he would do this weird thing where he'd shit on me on Twitter, and I'd go back and forth with him, and it would seem real. It seemed like he hates me. So I'd DM him to just like I'd be like, I don't get what the fuck you're talking about. And he'd go, oh, no, I'm fucking around. I think we actually agree on just a couple months ago. That I tweeted like an Ari Shaffir joke. Like, Kevin was trolling someone, and people started calling him out for it. They were like calling him a racist or some bullshit. And I said, you're the Ari Shaffir of your time. And he blows up. He goes, what the fuck is this? You're an asshole, all this shit. And I was like, Kevin, you're wrong. Like, I'm not making fun of you. You're just misreading this. And then he DMs me and was like, I think we actually agree on this issue. Yes. I was like, it's not an issue. I made a joke that you didn't understand.
I tried to get him to come onto the program, but he didn't respond.
Yeah, that was very dumb. Like, as if Kevin's going to see your tweet and be like, oh, sure, I'll come on.
I knew you wouldn't. The only way that would work is if enough people retweeted it or something.
Well, no, he would have me, if he wanted to do it, he would have me calling it. Coming on here would do him nothing. Like, literally, you know what I mean?
I figured that would be the outcome, but I was just trying to get the two of you in the same room.
Yeah. So I think I'm very realistic about all of this, but Kevin was just such a cunt about it that I'm like, you know what? Fuck him. I used to say, he's a nice guy. I liked his podcast for a long time. I stopped listening because it's weird to listen to a guy that hates your guts. You know what I mean? So I just stopped listening, I guess. But like, I think he's a funny guy. I think he's very good at his job. I just think he had a completely douchey moment, the same way fucking, many other people have. If it was reverse, if it was the Legion of Skanks apologizing for something KFC did on that episode, we would have talked about that and been like, boy, this is fucking cringy, huh?
Yeah. And all the people, I've seen a few people saying, like, I find it crazy that Mike doesn't know why Kevin doesn't like him. We understand right now why he's pissed. It's why did it?
I don't understand why he hates me. I get why he'd be annoyed at that, kind of. But it's still like you said it on air.
Right.
And the Legion of Skanks response wasn't like, fuck Kevin, we're done with that asshole. They laughed about it.
Right. It was the goal the whole time for the whole thing.
Yeah, to get a little fucking humor, some jocularity out of it.
Oh man, if you were in New York though and we're on that episode, that would have been something.
And here's the thing. If Kevin had me in for that show, I might have been fucking like nervous and uncomfortable and been like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that. Like, because I'm a pussy. But then then the next time I'm on KMS, they'd mock me about it. And I wouldn't be like, how dare you?
Box Eating Dad says the LOS subreddit has started posting clips about Kevin and calling him an F slur. So let's see if that keeps building.
I wonder what word that is. I hope they're not calling him a fuck.
No, it's
so yeah, someone I got sidetracked. I tweeted today because people would make fun of me for like tagging comics and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny. It's funny to be like, oh, Mike's needy. He tags people. But I saw a tweet from Kevin that said, like, I've learned so much about history from at Shane M. Gillis and at Matt McCusker on their podcast with Louis this week. So I quote tweeted that and just said, we're not so different. And someone replied, I'm just trying to be funny. Maybe it wasn't funny.
Mm-hmm.
And someone replied, the difference is Kevin's friends with them and you never will be. And I was like, yeah, no, that makes it weirder. Like when I tag people I like, I'm like, hey, I'm a fan of these guys. Ultimately, sure, I'd like to have them on the podcast because it would be good for the podcast. But I'm a fan of you guys. If you guys like the same shit that I do, check this out. Kevin's saying, look how great my friends are.
Yeah, but don't sell yourself.
Wouldn't that be much weirder if I was like, hey guys, I'm hanging out with my buddy Jimmy right now. This guy is the tops. He is so funny. Oh man, you should look at this fact the warthog just found instantly. Oh, he's smart as a whip, this guy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be way weirder than, hey, here's a fucking podcast you should check out?
Yeah, I mean, I don't
think either is weird. But like if you're gonna make fun of one,
Right. I don't know. People the shit people like the hills they choose to die on blow my mind sometimes.
That's what at the end of the day, ultimately what annoys me is like the anger. Like you hear the anger in Kevin's voice.
Right.
Like Kirk could prove me wrong and I go in on Monday and he fucking lambastes me. I think there was some element of fucking around. Like he was probably serious about everything he said. But I'm sure there was some element of fucking around. I hope. But maybe I'll be schooled on that next week. But with Kevin, it seems like genuine anger, and that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
There's no fucking around here.
Kirk tweeted this morning, it was kind of like a whoopsie.
Well, not a whoopsie, but like he just, I think jokingly said like, this might have been harsh.
Yeah. Not a whoopsie.
A whoopsie.
It's a whoopsie.
So do we know who this Good Samaritan is?
I don't know, and that almost makes it better.
Okay. Well, this is a great humanitarian called in to is this the Kevin Clancy Show or is it KFC Radio?
Kevin Clancy Show, and
okay.
This is the even further point to like Kevin needs to relax and just have fun with it. This is a 5-minute segment with this one call screaming about you.
No, I am better than Mike. Imagine being so insecure. So here's the issue I've always had with these I say Barstool guys, but Dave and Kevin mostly. Like they've said for 7 years how worthless I am, how insignificant I am, how bad I am at this. But they keep responding to me.
I know.
There's a lot of people who are shitty at this that make fun of you guys. Are you going to respond to everyone? Like, stop responding to me if I'm that insignificant. You take the bait every time. I don't know what it is.
Right. Exactly.
All right. So let's hear this call.
I think, Jim, what's up?
I was just wondering if you were salty that Blind Mike exposed your apology to Nikki Glazer.
I'm salty that Blind. Like, I don't care that he like if he really had like thoughts about me having Nikki on the show, that's fine. The way that Blind Mike clipped that and then like tags Jay is just like that's some bitch.
That's
shit.
a lie. Like, first of all, that's a lie. That's not his issue.
Nope.
His issue is that he looks bad in that clip, that he's embarrassed. And again, Kevin, if I didn't do it, someone would have. You don't think there's a single person that listens to your show and LOS, a show you've been on?
Right.
Like, someone would have mentioned it at some point. And it's worse if they didn't. It's worse if you said something on air that you pray never gets back to that person. That's just idiotic.
Agree.
I'm gonna go run and tell on.
No.
Yes, that absolutely is. If you don't think that big
pause. I'll disagree with the caller here. That is what I did.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's why I tattled on him.
That's why I didn't even cut the first part because of the phone call.
Yeah.
He just rehashed. He called you like a weasel, but it seemed like a joke on the. So at the beginning of the episode, he just said you acted like a weasel, but seemed more upbeat about it.
I thought that was the perfect way to describe what I did.
Right.
It was, but he there was a half a second where he kind of started to laugh.
It's
and
funny.
I was like, oh, he's fucking around. That's good.
It's objectively funny.
It's of course it's funny. What Kevin did is go on a podcast, shit on someone who completely deserved it. A comedian who wrote a song about a dead guy that was supposed to be about something else completely, and she changed it to capitalize on that guy's death.
You heard it here first.
That warrants a mocking.
Definitely. If he went up, if he had her on and said, "I'm sorry I talked behind your back, but I meant every word of it."
Hey, Kevin, you're talking about behind my back right now. I expect an apology. That's very mean. Why are you talking behind my back right now?
How dare you?
You should have me on. In 3 months, I expect you to have me on and apologize.
Exactly.
And I'll pretend I don't care about it.
Yes, that absolutely is. If you don't think that Blind Mike did that just to be like, I'm gonna go show them what he said, that's exactly what Blind Mike was doing. That wasn't like Blind Mike had any interest in it. That's like, I'm gonna go be a little rat.
Hey, pause. No. To his point, I thought about I think I just messaged it to Lewis originally, and then I was like, I should probably tweet it out instead.
Right.
So yeah, I wanted a reaction. And then I was like, well, it's better if I'm involved in the reaction.
Exactly. He should know. He used to do this shit.
I know, but I think the key word there is used to, you know?
The thing is, though, is this could have just been like a funny thing. And then did you hear he ends up getting into like Kirk and the Minifans too for some fucking reason, which you also
of course that's in his head all the time.
I couldn't find that, but you also did predict that he was going to go hammer you, take a light shot at Kirk, and then rehammer you.
Yeah. And I probably didn't say this, but it's very predictable that he's like, and the Minifans suck. And can you imagine? This is what Kevin's doing right now. Hey, Kevin, you had a real cringy moment with Nikki Glazer. What's your response? My response is Blind Mike's an asshole. Well, what does that have to do with anything? He sucks at that. He sucks at podcasting. Yeah, but no, we all know that. Now, what is your response to the Nikki Glazer thing? I'm objectively better than him. Kevin, you're a millionaire. How insecure are you that you don't know you're better than? Of course you're better than me at this. It is. Everyone could look at if you brought someone from another planet and said, hey, now we've taught you what money and success are. This guy is a podcaster who has made millions of dollars. He's incredibly rich off of his podcasting. This guy can barely scrape by with his podcasting, and it's only because another show promotes him. Who do you think is more successful? I don't know. It's tough. You got me, Kev.
This one thing you can't take away, though.
He pays his rent with his Patreon.
Well, we'll get to that, I'm sure. Let's keep going.
No.
Yes, that's absolutely what it is.
He spent an hour on his podcast breaking down what your conversation, and He basically
Blind Mike
you.
spent an hour on his podcast talking about my conversation with Nikki.
I will say the caller teed him up to just bury you here.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not as cool as spending an hour talking about Kim and Kanye. I mean, Jesus. Yes, you only talk about the cool subjects, Kevin. Yeah, this is what I choose to talk about. I chose to make fun of you for a fucking hour because it was ridiculous. It warranted it. You looked fucking silly.
But I will reiterate once again, it wasn't serious.
No, I mean, I seriously think he shouldn't have done that.
Right, but
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And
do it again tomorrow. I'll make fun of you again, but you'll still be more successful than me, Kevin.
And how quickly people forget when he was going through his shit, you had his back pretty vocally.
The guy cheated on his pregnant wife, and I said, don't criticize the man for it.
Yeah, who gives a fuck what he does?
I said, it's none of our fucking business.
Right.
But then I said, hey, Kevin cheated on his pregnant wife. No one should give a fuck. That's none of our business. He did make an ass of himself on a podcast. That we should care about. And he's like, well, fuck you. I said, hey, all of you people that are calling Kevin a racist. Nationwide, those of you that are saying Kevin hates Muslims and black people, you're incorrect about this man. But he did look a little stupid with Nikki Glazer when he said, yo, girl, what's good? You should do some music of your own. I said, yeah, that sounded silly. Oh, well, fuck you then.
You untalented hack.
Yeah, I am, but what does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, it's weird to think that a podcast interviewing, I don't know, Chris DiStefano, Shane Gillis is better than you talking to me. It's weird.
It would be like if you came on the podcast today, Craig, and were like, I was really pissed that you interrupted Kirk mentioning my Patreon.
Mm.
And I said, well, you and your wife have issues, probably. It's like, what?
Yeah. It's a little close, you know.
Let's continue. I don't know that, by the way, folks at home. I'm sure they do, but I have no inside knowledge.
She's married to me, dude.
Yeah. And he just eviscerated you. And now
I think that's why it's a podcast that's not succeeding.
Apologize to them too.
I think that's why Blind Mike's podcast is not succeeding.
Then why are you reacting to it?
We're getting so mad.
Why are you reacting to a podcast that's not succeeding?
It's a great question.
I don't understand it, Kevin. Yes, I know you hit the hot issues, like what's happening with Lizzo today. Or, is Will Smith going to do Letterman's show? I know that's cooler because it's mainstream. I like making fun of you. And now I will spend a lot more than an hour doing it because now I think you're a cunt. I used to think you were a guy that was nice to me and made jokes publicly, but weren't that much of a douchebag that you would hate me because you think I'm beneath you. It's okay to think I'm beneath you, but to hate me for it seems pretty fucking weird. So I thought that can't be what's going through this psychopath's mind. Now I hate you and think you're a cunt. And if this podcast will make dog shit money because I'm making fun of you, so be it. I'm going to have trouble paying the next month, baby, because I will make fun of you all I want. You fucking douchebag. You're not above getting mocked by me, by people more successful than you, by anyone. Jesus Christ, Kevin. You're losing your mind. Dave and Kevin, when they talk to me or talk about me, lose their mind for some reason. No one thinks you're less successful than me. And if I think that, I belong in the loony bin. I'm in a 5x10 room right now. Some call that a closet. Certainly in Dave Portnoy's house, this would be a closet that I'm in.
Right.
And yet they think I'm worth reacting to. That's the real issue, is that I'm in your head for some reason. It's psychotic.
I think that's why Blind Mike's podcast is not succeeding. Because if he did an hour on me just apologizing for talking more like behind their back.
He pays his rent with his Patreon, first of all. Second of all.
That's good. First of all, buddy.
That's so fucking funny.
I like how sincere. Kudos to whoever that is for learning the law. Just the dumb thing that I say.
That's what sticks with KFC the whole time because he even brings this back up at the end of the call, and he doesn't realize that guy just making a joke. Like that was.
Oh, so I haven't heard this far in yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is where I was like, I'll just hear what what else he has to say.
Yeah, because like that's like a joke because you said it on KMS and here, and then someone was like, "All right, guy."
Right.
They're like, "Oh, good for you," and now that guy just turned it into a.
Well, but I'll say this though, Kevin's going to make fun of that.
Yep.
I would say most podcasters can't do like it is something.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not that big a deal, particularly in Kevin's world when you're dealing with, $100,000 or $1 million contracts. Saying I can pay my rent is not that big a deal, but it's better than I was doing before.
How's that?
It's something.
Right. Oh, whoops.
He pays his rent with his Patreon, first of all. Second of all, when you go on Legion of Skanks,
oh boy,
when you go on Legion of Skanks, are you going to apologize to them too?
why would I apologize to them?
Why would you apologize to Nikki? Because you would apologize to them because you threw them under the bus. Is Kevin gonna respond? So the episode is up today, by the way. Has Kevin responded?
Let me check.
Has Kevin been like, "Hey, fuck them for making fun of me"? Because they did the exact same thing we did after we did it.
Way worse, by the way.
Right.
Let me check here.
I don't think he has. I don't think we need to send it to us in the chat if he has responded, but I don't think he has.
Because you threw them under the bus.
What? How did I throw them under the bus? I said, I'm sorry for talking shit about you on a podcast.
No, you said, I'm sorry for what they did.
Right.
And even in the time earlier, when he addressed it in this episode earlier, he goes, we were making fun of, they were making fun of her. It's like, oh, really, Kevin? You're going to distance yourself? And they knew it too. Kevin, they watched the clip. I didn't tell them what to think about it.
Right.
They watched the clip and they had the exact same reaction I did. What a douchebag. So I didn't brainwash them into, hey, let's all make fun of Kevin. People watched that and were able to form their own opinion.
I'm trying to
That's what he seems to be missing. Like he thinks that me tweeting it out, that I'm so influential.
I'm trying to
somehow
find the Reddit page.
Huh?
I'm trying to find the post on Reddit to see how brutal it is.
They probably shit on me too.
I'm going to find out.
But Kevin thinks that somehow this is a completely unsuccessful podcast. And yet I'm so influential that me tweeting that clip made everyone think the noble thing he did looked fucking stupid.
Right.
How does that work?
Great question.
Oh, Nikki, that song was mean that they did. I'm so sorry.
So how? First of all, that's not what I said. Second of all, even if that's what I said, that's not throwing them under the bus.
Of course it is.
No, it's fucking not. I didn't say anything about what Jay and Lewis said. I said I was on a podcast. We were clowning you, and I'm sorry for that.
They said.
Yes, that's what they said, you jackass. I didn't say anything about what they said. I said we were all making fun of you, and I'm sorry for that. You apologized for them. You fucking douche.
We're clowning you, and I'm sorry for that.
They said. You didn't say anything there. You were being quiet when you were on with them.
You're fucking right, dude. I just explained it. I just explained it, you fucking moron. I just said while we were on the show, I didn't say much because I'm friends with her, and I don't talk about people behind their back.
Talking about me right now, buddy.
Now you're mad at Mike because he tagged Louis. He's supposed to do that.
I'm not mad.
It's Lewis. Get it right.
Yeah, come
on.
And now you're mad at Mike because he tagged Louis. He's supposed to do that.
I'm not mad. No, that is little internet snitch shit. That is like, look at me. I'm Blind Mike. I love the Legion of Skanks. I ride their dick. I want them to notice me. That's what that is.
Hold on. Pause. But again, Kevin does that shit. If anyone can find the tweet of the first time Kevin was on Legion of Skanks, he's like, finally, it's happened. What an honor. Talk about riding dick. Look at any tweet about Kevin with the handle Bert Kreischer in it. Oh my God. Bert Kreischer said our name. We finally made it. And yes, Kevin, I think that's fucking cool. I think that's awesome. I wish that happened to me. But don't pretend you're above that, you fucking idiot.
Right.
Kevin is the model of what I want to do in podcasting. And he's like, why is Mike doing it?
Exactly. This program started before Kevin Clancy Show. Shout out Blind Mike Project.
Is that true?
I believe so. Kevin Clancy Show is recent. He's
I
had some
don't-
really good. He's had some really good interviews on it too.
I think Kevin's a good broadcaster.
I do too.
I think he's very good at what he does and funny.
I always loved him on Barstool Radio. Also, I didn't miss an episode.
I've had no issue with the guy. But now I hate him because he's made me. He's forced me to hate him. I have no real reason to hate him other than this shit.
Do you actually hate him?
Probably not. If he was like I overreacted, I'd probably be like, all right.
I was just playing it up on my show. Sorry, Nikki.
Yeah, if he apologizes to me, but I would demand a Nikki Glazer apology.
Or in the middle.
Now, for Kevin, that's a
do-
joke. I don't think I deserve that. All right?
Yeah.
Do I need to say that every time? Do I need to put a fucking disclaimer? Hey, I am less successful than the person I'm about to talk about. Now, here's me talking about Will Smith.
Right.
Dave Chappelle got attacked at the Hollywood Bowl this week. Now, it should be known I'm less successful than both him, and I don't know what the gentleman who attacked him does for a living, but there's a chance I'm less successful than him as well. So I just want to make that clear before we get into it.
I do. Here we go. Sorry.
By the way, we're spending an hour on this again, Kevin, so fuck you.
Oh, stop it. That's
That's exactly what it is. That is Blind Mike being a Legion of Skanks dick rider, being like, look at me. I'm going to show them what Kevin said. 100%. That is the only reason.
That's ridiculous.
That's exactly. I mean, tell me what it is then.
It's Mike saying, you have all these comedy guests on your show. He has a show. And if he doesn't get those guests, but you have them on your show and you act like a little bitch.
Blind Mike doesn't get guests.
That's where he lost me. The only time he lost me in this whole call. I didn't get what he was trying to say there.
I think I get what he's trying to say. I think basically he's saying, like, I'm a fan. I don't really know what he was trying to say either. He lost me a little bit.
Blind Mike doesn't get guests on his show because he's not good at this. Blind doesn't get.
Yeah, that's correct. You're 100% right. But why are you yelling it, Kevin? Why are you angry about it? I've stopped trying to book. Every once in a while, I'll pop up and try and book people on both shows, but I can't because they don't know who the fuck I am. But why are you angry about that? I should be the one angry about it.
Fair.
Blind Mike doesn't get guests on his show.
Pause for a second.
His show's not.
Lewis did my podcast.
True.
Like, I don't know the guy. Kevin knows him better than I do. But like, why am I supposed to have more loyalty to Kevin and be like, oh, everyone keep this quiet? Let's all keep this secret that Kevin broadcast over the internet.
Blind Mike doesn't get guests on his show because his show's not good.
He's better than you.
No, I mean, like, he objectively isn't. He objectively isn't because look at where I'm at and where he's at.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Because
there's a reason why Blind Mike is where he is because he does shit like this. And him and the Minifans, everybody turns this into something.
Oh, now it's what it's really about.
Here we go.
It's him in the minute. So is there much more to this? Because I feel like it's starting to get repetitive.
Like 2 more minutes, dude.
Let's give it another thing. Because now it's getting into like, I want to hear what he says about the Minifans, but beyond that, it's just going to be Mike sucks. No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't.
Right.
It's so much bigger in their minds than it really is. Everything. It's always about free speech. It's always about my right to say this.
Yeah, so I tweeted this as a joke, but it seems like Kevin really believes it. I don't think anyone's constitutional rights were violated.
Nope.
I think you chose to say what you said, which is freedom of speech, and I thought it was douchey. I don't think you should be sent to federal prison for it. But I did think it was kind of a douchebag act. How did free speech get brought into this discussion?
I have no idea.
So evidently this is a thing about the Minifans, I guess, and me. But I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem to make any sense, but let's continue.
All of them. It's like, I am friends with someone. We were talking shit about them. When I saw them, I said, sorry for talking about you behind your back.
No.
You can't do that.
No, you texted them about it privately and said, I'm going to wait to be on the air to apologize to you and throw another podcast under the bus. You could have apologized to him privately and we wouldn't know about it.
Right.
But you did it on your show, Kevin. And the reason I know about it is because your show is much more successful than mine, which makes it worth talking about. If you did a show as or less successful than mine, we never would have noticed it.
Great point. He's helping out now. Now he's promoting the show by doing this.
Yes, well, thank you. Well, is anyone saying in the chat before we keep droning on about this?
Angry Mike is the best. I hope Mike doesn't walk all this back when he is on with Kirk and they call Kevin. I mean,
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I'll apologize, and then you guys can make fun of me for it.
Does everyone forget the fucking Portnoy call when you were just fucking?
Because I used to want these guys to like me, and now I'm fed up with it. I've had enough.
and ironically, Dave kind of likes you now.
I've finally had enough of like, oh, if these guys just understood me, they'd like me. That ship has sailed. So now I just don't give a fuck anymore.
Who knows? Maybe you and this will be the beginning of a beautiful friendship with you and KFC.
I'm sure we'll be great friends. Yeah.
I wouldn't say no to that. It probably could happen.
Yeah.
I'm always mad at people, and if they apologize, I go, all right. Like, it literally deflates the shit out of me.
Right.
Or if you're driving and someone cuts you off and you're like, fuck you, you piece of shit, and you see them give you the sorry wave.
I've done it.
Right.
And people made fun when I called Tommy boring or whatever the fuck I said.
Yep.
And he was on KMS after that, and he's like, I don't get why you're talking about me. You don't even know me.
Fair.
What I should have, not really fair, because what I should have said is like, you're on the radio. I'm analyzing your performance on the radio.
Also,
but I was like, I get it, man. And I was being a little bitch. And some people made fun of me for it, and I didn't knock on their door and say, well, what's your podcast do, buddy?
Box Eating Dad sent me the Reddit thread. It just looks like a transcript of a VGS episode.
That sounds about right. Yeah, let's not show that.
I'm not. That's pretty funny.
All right. Now we're going to see if this gets more repetitive. We'll just figure it's done,
Yeah.
unless people have a good timestamp for us or something.
Yeah.
As a person, you suck, and you're turning it into something bigger than it is because I did it with.
By the way, he's talking to the listeners,
Yeah.
not anyone
Hey,
specific.
Kevin, how did I turn it into something bigger than it is? I tweeted it out.
No. He's talking to the Minifans.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is like, I tweeted it out, by the way, from an account that had 900 followers. I didn't tweet it from my account. I tweeted it from my little account, my show account, because I said, hey, if this gets retweeted, that's good for the show.
It's got over 1,000 now.
Yippee. Thanks, Kevin, by the way, and Kirk. So I tweeted it out from the small account. I didn't say, I demand all of you react negatively to this. People got there on their own.
Right.
Like, people were able to form an opinion. I am not fucking Stalin, Kevin. I don't have that. How can you simultaneously say I'm a dog shit podcaster and I have all this influence to tell them what to think? They got there on their own. Go listen to that Legion of Skanks clip, you asshole. You think I told them to do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, I must have.
Mind control. Turning into something bigger than it is because you're threatened by all this dumb cancel culture bullshit. And
It has nothing to do with, why does he keep bringing up cancel culture?
This is where he lost me.
No one in this situation was canceled. This man, as much as Kirk has tried to pound it into his skull, this man has no concept of what cancel culture is.
And you know what the thing is? That's crazy. It's like, yeah, he apologized to Nikki. We're like, oh, gross. But I don't blame him for doing that because I probably would have done the same fucking thing because it's different when they're in front of you and you're technically friends.
I just thought he did it in a douchey way.
Right.
Like, I didn't even have a problem with him actually doing it because I'm sure I would do the same thing in that situation. I'd be, my bad.
I would apologize for doing it, but not, apologize for having done it. I'd be like, I meant every word, but I'm sorry.
And I'm capable I think I'm capable of that if I don't like the person. Like when I had Rich Keefe on many moons ago, I was able to shit on him, like to his face or to his Zoom or whatever it was,
Yeah.
because I don't like him. Like I thought he was kind of a douche.
Right.
But if I like the person, you know, like I don't have a problem with Nikki Glazer, so I probably would be like, my bad. But it was the manner in which he did it that we made fun of. And if I don't want you canceled for that, Kevin, I don't even get where that comes from.
Yeah.
Now, if I was tagging fucking Erica and was like, we need to do something about this man's employment, that would be cancel culture.
Yes, exactly. And I don't even know the last cancel culture story that we covered or KMS covered or anything.
No, it's gotten boring.
Yeah. Extremely. But let's see where he goes.
Like, yo, that was fucked up. And if that makes me a pussy or a cuck, and if Lewis and Jay don't like me, or if the Illusionist Skanks people don't like that, then that's fucking fine. But anytime I talk about someone behind their back, if I do know them, if I'm friends with them, if I like them, when I see them, if I felt
This
like
behind their back, you're talking into a microphone.
Right. Behind your back would be like when we record Why Are You Laughing? If we were to talk shit about, I don't know, someone afterwards, that's behind their back. If we talk shit on the show, it's technically saying it to their face because they'll hear it.
Right. When Mike's not there and we're like, thank God.
Yeah.
Like that's talking shit behind his back. But if I say good news, folks, Mike's not here. That's to his face.
Correct. Exactly.
All right. Well, I think it's getting a little repetitive,
Yeah.
so we can move on, I guess.
I don't even know what to.
How long have we been doing?
50 minutes.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ.
What are your thoughts on the Chappelle thing?
I think it's pretty crazy the guy didn't get charged.
He didn't get charged. And dude, it was literally a switchblade that was in the shape of a gun.
I'm sorry, he got charged with a misdemeanor, right?
Yeah, not a felony. He's avoiding felony.
He brought a weapon. He brought a gun-shaped knife.
Yeah, I think I might still have it from Jerry's show. Let me see if I have. Yeah, I do. I'll pull it up for the people watching here. But it literally looks like a gun, and if you hit a button, a blade pops out.
That seems very dangerous.
But you have to charge that almost like a gun because everyone there is gonna assume it's a gun.
That could almost be like fucking terrorism.
Yeah.
Like he was in a packed building with what people could have thought was a gun.
Right. I have it up on the screen now. Tell me what you would think in a dimly lit room when you see this guy. I don't know if he was, maybe he wasn't holding it and it was like either in his waist or his bag or something.
Now, so I have very little understanding of the legal system. This is not like Will Smith wasn't arrested because Chris Rock didn't press charges.
Yeah.
This is not like that, right?
No, this was the DA not charging.
But meaning, like, did Chappelle say, I don't want this guy, I don't want to press charges on this guy or anything?
Not that I've heard. You see the pictures of this dude all fucked up?
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, fucking maniac. I don't know. I wonder what that is. I'd like to know. Like, people are very quick to be like, it's probably a trans activist hero.
Right.
But it could just be some fucking nut. We have no idea.
He's actually a rapper.
Oh, that's right. I did see that. Yeah. I was actually looking for his music and I couldn't find it.
He has a song called Dave Chappelle. We played it on Jerry's show, and we could only literally make out one word that he says, and it's one that us white
mumble rapping. That's very hip now.
Us whites can't say the only word that was, able to be heard.
I understand. Yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy, but it did inspire an episode of Why You Laughing that will be out in a couple weeks.
This did?
Yeah. I'm just doing like on stage meltdowns and attacks.
Ooh, I like that.
Mostly meltdowns, but
is that a Zoom one?
No, I'll be in
Oh, right. Is Mike not going?
No, he turned me down. It's Mother's Day.
The next day.
Don't you know it's the day before Mother's Day?
Oh, that's tomorrow. Fuck.
Yeah. God
damn, I suck.
Why?
Tomorrow's my wife's birthday, then Mother's Day. I still need to go to the store. I've been so preoccupied because the studio's getting finished today that nothing else has been on my
Hey,
mind.
you know what though? You should tell her that, and I think that'll make up for all
See, I'm not saying it behind her back though. It's into a microphone.
of it. You should be like, hey, I'm more interested in the studio getting finished, so you understand that, right? You're cool with that?
Dude, I understand how selfish that sounds, but I have been waiting for fucking months on months for this fucking thing to get in.
I've really been lobbying against birthdays for the last few months.
Well, me and my wife actually don't exchange birthday gifts.
It's a lot. It's like, hey, look at you. You're another day older than you were. I saw you yesterday, and today you're a day older.
I'll do Mother's Day, you know, get something from the kids, but
Let's celebrate every day. Let's celebrate life. Every day you get a gift. How's that?
what's May's month? You know, it's like Pride Month, Black History Month. What is May anything?
Women's Month was March, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't know.
May is what month?
Who knows?
Just says the 5th month. Thank you, Google.
I gotta say, that is the correct answer for that question.
Oh, there's a ton. Oh,
I think there always is. I think every month is a million now.
but I can get behind this one. American Cheese Month, dude.
Well, you know what? Kevin was right about everything.
Jewish American Heritage Month.
We've now devolved into hack. Hey, I can get behind Cheese Month, right, gang? We all like cheese.
Yeah, we all like cheese, but I love American cheese, dude.
Well, I love Jews, so we can all celebrate May.
Shout out Adam,
Yeah.
VGS Patreon member.
I don't know. Anything else before we shove off here?
Nothing on my end, sir.
So, folks, how are we going to do this? We have to start a new feed?
Yes, I also have to go in a little bit. We'll be starting a new feed. And we're going to be, I guess you can tell them. I don't know why.
We don't know when exactly, or do we?
Soon. I don't know exact time yet.
Okay. But like within the hour or
Within the hour or hour and a half.
Okay. That should be fun. Yeah. So if you guys are on patreon.com/blindmike, we'll be streaming Brendan Schaub's new special. And yes, I'll probably tag him in hopes that he has a negative reaction towards it.
I mean, if we get sued by him, that'd be pretty sweet. What's he gonna take? He's
Right.
gonna take. He's gonna take.
Kevin sues me for slander.
I hope he just fucking has goddamn fun with it. Like all the backlash he's getting or going to get, because today's the day it comes out to the public.
Yeah,
could have been avoided if he was like, "Yeah, that was gay."
Just be cool, man.
Yeah. Sorry, girl.
Oh, hey, you got any new music coming out? You've been crushing it. I think my favorite line in that whole thing was Dave saying, based on the way Kevin was sitting, he goes, "He is acting out what he is being right now."
Phony.
Yeah. So we'll be watching Brendan Schaub's special. Can they watch along? Are we can do it that way?
So here's the plan. There's a gigantic chance that YouTube is going to kick us off live. We will try. If not, we'll just finish it on the same feed, and I will upload the video after through other means.
Post it tonight. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So feel free to join us in an hour and a half, but it may not work.
It could also be
worth subscribing for.
Yeah, it could also be in 5 minutes. I have to go check and see where people are.
Yes. So help this become a less unsuccessful podcast by going to patreon.com/blindmike.
Right.
And go to Craig's Patreon as well, I guess, even though it's a real thorn in my side.
Patreon.com/verygoodshow.
If you can. And you know what I haven't said? To support, if you're not supporting either, subscribe to Craig's instead of mine. You know what I mean? Like, I get it.
we need 12 or I forget what the number is. 12 or 13 more to hit my goal before June, which I'm shocked that it's even that high, to be honest. Thanks.
What an incentive.
Yeah. Fox Eating Dad, first patron member.
What a guy.
Yeah, he's great. Great guy.
All right, everybody. Anything else in the chat before we get out of here?
Because yeah, I can't repeat it. This month the show's called The Blind K*** Project.
It took me a second, I guess.
That's objectively funny.
That's fine. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
I hope to hear from you soon. Until then, have yourself a great day and